Life is an ever-constant teacher, continually presenting us with lessons to learn and grow from. Some of these lessons come from our own mistakes or the mistakes of others, while others are imparted to us by the people we know, like my partner Kaja. We'd shared a home for 2 years, during which she worked as a dedicated teacher in a reputable school, while I managed my own small business. Recently, we took the significant step of getting engaged, bringing me unparalleled joy. One of my favorite moments of the day was picking Katia up after work, cherishing the opportunity to hear about her day. As I walked into her office, the familiar question of "How was your day?" escaped my lips. Her response was a heavy exhalation, followed by words describing an awful day filled with unruly children at school. We left the premises and settled into the car, where she continued her tale of disrupted discipline and chaos. I listened intently, knowing that when someone you love recounts their experiences, it becomes inherently interesting. It wasn't about the reprimand from the principal or the challenges Kaja faced. What mattered was that she shared it with me, and I genuinely cared. She expressed her frustration about not being able to even enjoy a proper lunch break, as she had to constantly keep watch over the students to prevent fights or destructive behavior. Katia dismissed the notion of parents being involved in the school, longing instead for recognition and a promotion from the principal. It pained her to work diligently without any acknowledgement, yearning for a position of influence where her voice could be heard beyond the classroom. "I'm sure the principal will soon notice your efforts and you'll get your way," I reassured her. True to my words, we found ourselves back home without even realizing how we got there. "You go ahead and get undressed. I'll warm up dinner," I offered to Katusha with a tired smile. She nodded and made her way towards the kitchen. I couldn't help but smile as I watched her go. These quiet evenings, filled with comfortable silence and unhurried conversations, always brought a sense of warmth and familiarity to my soul. Without them, I couldn't imagine the end of another day. Lying in bed with Katia, I suddenly asked her, "What do you envision for our wedding?" The electronic clock on the wall opposite us illuminated the room with its bright red numbers, signaling that it was already 12:30. Katia's drowsy voice responded as she pulled herself up in bed and switched on the bedside lamp. Her gaze seemed fixed somewhere in the corner of the room as she smiled and replied, "Well, I'm thinking a classic style, a black suit for the groom, a stunning white dress with a veil for the bride. We'll have plenty of guests, a grand banquet table filled with exquisite dishes, and the best entertainment program with a Toastmaster." I couldn't help but grin as I took her hand in mine. "So that's how it's going to be," I remarked. "And what about the honeymoon? Shall we go to the sea?" she suggested. I nodded in agreement, and Katia bid me goodnight as she turned off the light and settled back into bed. I followed her lead, my mind wandering as I contemplated her words. Day after day, the routine of work, quiet evenings, and occasional late-night conversations continued. The familiarity of this routine brought me comfort as I arrived once again at the school where Katia worked. Making my way inside, I headed to the second floor and approached her office. I knocked on the door, anticipating her familiar voice calling out for me to enter. Instead, there was silence. Opening the door, I found an empty classroom before me, leaving me with one obvious question: where is she? I searched the hallway and noticed a teacher nearby. I approached her and asked, "Excuse me, do you happen to know where Yekaterina Andreevna is?" The woman looked surprised but kindly pointed out, "Check the teacher's lounge. It's to the left of the schedule board." "Thank you," I replied gratefully. Following her directions, I made my way to the designated door, where a sign marked it as the teacher's room in black on a white background. I was about to knock on the door when I overheard voices coming from inside. One voice belonged to Katia, whom I recognized, and the other voice was her colleague's. Their conversation made me hesitate to enter. "He's amazing, to be honest." And now the promotion to deputy director, Katia's tired voice sounded muffled but audible. But what if others suspect that you're getting all these praises and promotions easily? Are you going to hide it from them? Her coworker questioned. Well, Yule, of course I have to keep it quiet. You can't just go around telling everyone that I'm sleeping with the headmaster, Keji replied. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. At first, I wanted to believe that I had misunderstood their conversation, but with each replay in my mind, the truth became clearer. I held my breath, listening even more closely to their dialogue. How long do you plan on hiding it from him? And what if he finds out? Yulia asked. He won't find out anything, Katya assured. Bitterness filled me as I heard my wife's words. It all sounded so ironic. Slowly, I took a deep breath and exhaled, trying to swallow the stabbing resentment in my heart. Knocking on the door, I entered the teacher's lounge, causing both Ketya and her friend to look surprised. Kejia's expression showed worry. I thought I'd pick you up early, I said. The realization of what she had done immediately dawned on both Ketya and her friend, as they looked at me with wide eyes. You won't be coming home tonight, and you'll pick up your things tomorrow, I stated, looking into her traitorous, beautiful eyes one last time. Goodbye, I said and walked out. When I returned home, without delay, I started packing Ketya's belongings, all the while battling the unbearable pain. Once I had packed all the bags, I carried them out into the hallway. The next day, exhausted from lack of sleep, I woke up to loud knocks on the door. Reluctantly, I got up, hoping to hear my favorite voices one last time. Oleg, let's talk. Please, Katya pleaded. Her sobs pierced through me, and I clenched my teeth in pain. I wanted to open the door and let her in, but the sting of her betrayal kept me rooted in place. Oleg, where will I go? Who will I be with? Please understand, I wanted that position, she begged, and I didn't want to understand. I could forgive anything, but not this. I silently turned away and retreated to my room. Eventually, the banging on the door ceased along with the shouting. Katya was gone for good, and she sent her things a couple of days later to the address she had provided in another message asking for forgiveness. It took a long time to accept that she was no longer a part of my everyday life. Overcoming the pain she had caused was difficult but manageable. Now, I am fully focused on my work, thinking less and less about my wife. I am confident that one day soon, I will be able to let her go completely.